Good evening and welcome to California Today. I'm David Lam sitting in for Liang Zhang. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. And here's a spoiler, a lot of people are unhappy about COVID policy. A parent is suing California's biggest school district for allegedly giving her son a COVID jab without her consent. A physician had previously discouraged him from getting it for medical reasons, but the mom says the school coerced her boy. Speaking of COVID, cities in Southern California have openly stated they will not comply with mask mandates coming back to Los Angeles County. We'll hear what people had to say about it. And another COVID lockdown measure may be ending for one Silicon Valley city, early release from jail. The mayor said in a press conference that it's turned the jailhouse door into a, quote, turnstile. A Los Angeles mother says her son is suffering injuries after he received a COVID-19 vaccine without her knowing. Now she's preparing to sue the school district. NTD's Eileen Ang has the story.
Maribel Duarte has a 13-year-old son who was injured after getting a COVID-19 vaccine. She claims he was vaccinated without her consent, and now he suffers from side effects. In response, she is planning to sue the Los Angeles School District with the help of her attorney, Nicole Pearson.
Is that children are already subject to extreme pressures. They're very desperate to get back to school. And then now we have school vaccination clinics that basically promise them the return to normalcy.
Duarte's son attends Barack Obama Global Preparation Academy in the Los Angeles Unified School District. She didn't vaccinate her son after advice from a pediatrician due to the child's chronic childhood asthma, bleeding issues, and other health concerns. She alleges her son and his peers were bribed with free pizza and a party if they got the COVID-19 vaccine. He was vaccinated at a vaccination clinic on campus. The adult at the clinic, whose affiliation is unknown, told the child to sign his mother's name and not tell anyone. After the vaccine, her son experienced breathing and bleeding issues, shortness of breath, chronic fatigue, depression, and anxiety, among other things, and is receiving medical treatment.
Children, even before a law was on the books, as young as 13, are already being pressured to give consent. And so now if there's a law, we can only imagine how many more children will be giving informed consent, not realizing all the reasons why their parents never got them vaccinated and all the reasons why their parents didn't give consent.
The law firm is also fighting Senate Bill 866, introduced by Senator Scott Wiener. It would lower the age of vaccine consent to 15. The California legislature is set to vote on the bill in August. Pearson says the bill violates the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act.
We are preparing the lawsuit right now. Obviously, it'll be against the district and against the school. We're still in the process of finding out who were the actual physical bad actors, but we will be suing everybody that was involved in authorizing and administering and rolling out the vaccination clinic and giving Moises the vaccine that day, and who's responsible for not responding to their legally viable government claims.
Under current law, children cannot give consent until 18. Earlier in July, a judge ruled in favor of a father of a 12-year-old in the same school district who challenged the COVID vaccine mandate. Eileen Ang, NTD News, California.
On Thursday afternoon, Los Angeles County health officials declined to bring back indoor mask mandates. Before the decision was made, several cities were planning to refuse the mandates regardless of the county's decisions. Here's a look at one of them.
The Beverly Hills City Council voted unanimously on Monday to not enforce an indoor mask mandate.
If a mandate does get in place by LA County, that Beverly Hills will not use their enforcement to abide by what LA County would ask for a mask mandate if that did occur. Just recently, we've heard that perhaps LA County is changing course and it might not go into effect, which I hope is the case. But I also feel that it is our job to lead.
Boss said they led the county to reopen and resume businesses after they were shut down during the pandemic. The decision comes as Los Angeles County is weighing whether or not to impose the indoor mask mandate at the end of the week. Some of the public criticized the Los Angeles County Public Health Director, Barbara Ferrer, saying her claims are not consistent with the county's released COVID patients.
Barbara Ferrer and her agenda of wanting to put the mask mandate on is absolute total insanity. And what we're seeing here now is that the LA USC County Hospital came out again today and reaffirmed those numbers. So there seems to be now a complete difference between Barbara Ferrer, who, by the way, is not a medical doctor.
Ferrer was recently seen maskless at a crowded Dodgers baseball game. Joe Collins, a candidate running for Congress, cited an article from the National Institutes of Health.
N95 masks were associated with headaches in 6 out of 10 studies, the 60%. For oxygen deprivation under N95 respiratory protectors, we found the common occurrence in 8 of the 11 studies, which is 72%.
One parent explained how her children are affected by the masks.
Over the last 2.5 years, the children of LA County have been masked more than any other group. My 2 small children had to learn how to read, how to write, and read social cues through a paper veil over their teachers' mouths and those of their friends. My kindergartner didn't even recognize some of her own classmates outside of school without a mask on.
Pasadena and Long Beach declared they are also refusing the indoor mask mandate.
Now that mask mandates are not coming back to Los Angeles County, many citizens can breathe a sigh of relief. Here's a look at what some locals were saying leading up to the decisions.
4 cities in Los Angeles County have all said that they will not follow the order if the universal mask mandate is reinstated. Beverly Hills, Long Beach, Pasadena, and El Segundo made this decision after evaluating current hospital metrics and local COVID-19 cases.
How can you have a mask mandate when you have, I don't know how many, 60,000 restaurants in LA County and everybody has their mask off while they're eating and drinking? Then what is the point? It's like a mandate full of Swiss cheese holes. It's like pointless.
According to a statement by the city of Long Beach, hospitalizations among Long Beach residents remain stable, area hospitals have adequate capacity, and fatalities remain low. The city of Long Beach will continue to align with the California Department of Public Health, which strongly urges but does not require masking in most circumstances. Each of the cities have agreed that the decision to wear a mask should be the choice of each individual and not forced by the county.
For me, it doesn't mean too much. I think because I work at a bar, it's going to be a little bit more hectic. I'm going to have a lot of people who are upset by it. Me, one way or the other, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I worked throughout the entire pandemic, so I'm used to it.
No, I'm not happy about the fact because we've been going through this for 2.5 years now, and I feel like at this point in the game that it should be a personal choice whether or not you want to wear the mask.
If we remain in the high COVID-19 community level through this Thursday, July 28th, with no significant decreases in cases or hospital admissions, we will go ahead and implement universal indoor masking on Friday, July 29th.
Ferrer said on Wednesday that the county may also, quote, pause the implementation of universal masking.
During the pandemic, California judicial courts and counties were faced with reducing COVID transmission in jails, but it came at the cost of public safety due to releasing inmates. One mayor in Silicon Valley has openly opposed the, quote, catching and releasing of repeat criminals without bail. Here's the story. On Wednesday, San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo called on Santa Clara County officials to make changes to the county's catch and release justice system as part of COVID-19 related policies.
Our goal is to halt the spinning turnstile at the jailhouse door, and the only way we can do that is by returning to what the California Constitution.
During COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns, the county enacted an emergency zero bail practice, which allowed suspects of crimes such as human trafficking, assault, and hostage-taking to be released. Liccardo says judges have voted for this order to expire in July, but he's dissatisfied with the county's mandate of reducing the jail population.
And what I'm urging is first that judges, not bureaucrats, make these decisions on releases. And secondly, that we restore the primacy of community safety in these decisions.
Santa Clara County is a densely populated area in California's Silicon Valley, estimated to have a population of nearly 2 million people. In the last 2 years, Liccardo said 43 individuals were arrested and brought to county jail 10 or more times. The San Jose Police Department cited or arrested nearly 900 individuals on 5 separate occasions, and they could be released anywhere from hours to minutes later. According to SJPD crime data, there have been over 1,800 more violent and property crimes in the first half of 2022 compared to the same time last year. Businesses were common victims of repeated crimes during lockdowns.
At the coffee shop, 3 incidents. They burned the window planter box and then vandalized the flower pots. We replaced it. In 1 month, they vandalized again.
We need to make sure we make our guests to feel safe, our employees to feel safe, and we have the same repeat offenders. So now we're trying to figure out, do we need to police our own businesses and we need to watch what's going on and take...
The mayor says he's waiting for the county supervisors to take action. David Lamb, NTD News, California. We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got for you when we come back. In Southern California, a sheriff's deputy talked about the difficulties they're facing in illegal marijuana sellers marketing towards children. They're doing it by making edible marijuana candies disguised as brand name sweets, and they're even using new ways to avoid law enforcement. And a zoo in Santa Ana has put a butterfly exhibit on display. We've got what you can see there and what's best to wear to attract the colorful, fluttering insects. That and more on California Today. Despite California legalizing marijuana, there are still plenty of people breaking the law in the drug sale. NTD's Jackie Rios went to hear from the local sheriff's department about how illegal sellers are marketing towards kids and how they're avoiding the law while doing it.
Protecting our children is a job that never ends. And now that job has become more complicated as marijuana packaged to look like candy could make its way into the hands of our youngsters. The LA County Sheriff's Department tells us more. On July 20th, the Altadena Sheriff's Station in Los Angeles issued a warning to parents about marijuana dispensaries packaging their edibles to look like children's treats. Deputy Arthur Valiant explains the dangers associated with marijuana products that look like popular candy.
You think it's like a regular Reese's Pieces or a Snickers, but if you actually look at the label, it says THC Snickers, or instead of Starburst, it says Star Buds. So our issue with it is, what if it's a English second language family and the kids realistically just come home and the parents don't really pay attention and they only know labels and they see, oh, it looks like Reese's Pieces or Snickers or anything like that. They're not going to really pay attention to it.
Deputy Valiant said packaging marijuana products in this way is illegal.
But at least it is highly illegal to label it in a certain way, as if it's a Rice Krispies treat or a cereal or type of thing, because they have laws against it, so children don't see it or try to get their hands on it or try to see that, oh, it's a cereal, let me try it, and then they have effects within the marijuana product or the edible product. So it is illegal in the state of California to label these items as candies or desserts or any cereals, anything like that.
Valiant said one main problem is illegal marijuana pop-up shops. The shops say they're selling food or drink, but instead are selling the drug without a license. But he says the shop owners are exploiting the slow speed at which the legal system works.
The problem we're facing is they have due process. We can't just go in there and shut down the place. We have to look at what they're selling, get complaints, get warrants, get judges to sign it, so we can actually go and arrest people who are doing it, shut down the place. But another problem we see is once we do shut it down, they're up and running already in a couple days. Within a couple days to a week to a month, they're up and running at a different location. The main aspect or the main hurdle we have is the due process.
For parents who are worried, Balian mentioned the best way is to communicate with their children.
Just communicate with your kids, show them what the dangers are, talk to them, have an open line of communications. If they have questions, ask it. We just wanted to bring this to light so parents could understand what's out there so they're not surprised if something happens down the line.
Keeping a close watch on where your children purchase their treats will aid greatly in keeping them safe, healthy, and out of harm's way. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.
The University of California is considering options to add more than 23,000 undergraduate and graduate student slots by 2030, the equivalent of at least one full university campus. How are they approaching this task when many campuses are already operating at or close to capacity? Administrators have a number of tactics in mind. The University of California is considering developing a plan to add more than 23,000 undergraduate and graduate student slots by 2030. A working group outlined 2 possible courses of action last year, according to UC President Michael Drake. He said the options will require significant capital and infrastructure needs, including new classrooms, new teaching labs, and student and faculty housing. They also take into account enhanced use of technology and other non-traditional means of increasing enrollment. To achieve the goal, UC will focus on online and summer programs, since many campuses are unable to add more students on campus. Other planned tactics include studying abroad and travel study programs. A satellite campus is another option. UC Chancellor Jean Block said the possibility of bringing a small campus into existence in the LA region would be very attractive for us. The proposed expansion plan came after UC saw surging enrollment demand starting in 2021. This year, the school system received a record high of 521,179 undergraduate applications for fall of 2022. The number of applications has far exceeded enrollment capacity, since most campuses' acceptance rates are below 50%. Disney is expanding its tuition-free program, a service that offers free college tuition to its employees. 2 more Southern California schools are being added onto the program's list.
The Walt Disney Company added 2 more Orange County schools to Disney Aspire, its tuition-free program. The program allows its employees to attend college for free. The company recently partnered with California State University, Fullerton, and Fullerton College through Disney Aspire. It covers 100% tuition for employees and cast members who have been working with Disney for over 3 months. In a statement, Chris Trout, Vice President of Learning and Development at the Walt Disney Company, said, "Returning to school as a working adult is no easy feat, and we've heard from our employees time and time again how important it is that when they make that decision, they want it to be at a place they already know and love." About 13,000 hourly California employees are eligible to participate in Disney Aspire. Thousands are already enrolled, and 2,600 have graduated since it was launched in 2018. Enrollees participate in various programs from high school completion to vocational and master's degree certificates. In addition to covering the cost of tuition, employees will also be reimbursed for additional fees and books required for the programs.
Santa Ana Zoo has a new butterfly exhibit that opened this week. The exhibit will expose its visitors to a vibrant live butterfly experience.
The Santa Ana Zoo Flight Exhibit is a 2,000-foot enclosure where zoogoers will have the opportunity to interact with butterflies from all over South, Central, and North America. The exhibit, which was funded by private donations, has over a dozen species of butterflies. According to zookeepers, the butterflies are not shy around people. Families can walk around the enclosure and see the beautiful variety of colors and patterns along their wingspans. To maximize the experience, guests are encouraged to wear brightly colored clothing to attract the butterflies. Tickets for the zoo are $12 for adults and $9 for children aged 3 through 12. The flight exhibit will be open until the end of September and will reopen again in the spring of 2023.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for the Sports Roundup.
Welcome to the NTD News Sports Roundup. I'm Thomas Christian, taking you through the wide world of California athletics. Jimmy Garoppolo reported to training camp for the San Francisco 49ers after spending the offseason away rehabilitating his injured shoulder. But the message was clear from Coach Kyle Shanahan about Garoppolo's future and the future of the 49ers. This is Trey's team. Shanahan started camp Tuesday by removing any pretense of a quarterback competition in San Francisco by unequivocally stating what had seemed obvious all offseason, that Trey Lance will take over as starter a year after being drafted 3rd overall. The process of transitioning from Garoppolo to Lance as starter in San Francisco started last offseason when the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks to move up to take Lance in the 2021 draft. But after having only limited college experience at lower-level North Dakota State, the 49ers were in no rush to turn the team over to Lance, believing that a healthy Garoppolo gave them the best chance to compete. That notion was mostly proved correct, as San Francisco made it to the NFC title game with Garoppolo at quarterback before losing to the eventual champion Rams. Still, they beat the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs, and many could argue that they overachieved. Lance played only sparingly, making 2 starts when Garoppolo got injured, but showed enough in practice in the offseason for Shanahan to be confident in his ability to run a team that has championship aspirations. Garoppolo stayed in Southern California for the offseason program, but has been cleared to practice, eliminating a $7.5 million injury guarantee on his $24.2 million contract for 2022. Whether the Niners can find a trade partner for Garoppolo remains to be seen. They might end up releasing him altogether to save money on the salary cap. Shanahan said Garoppolo won't take part in any team drills and will work on the side building up strength in his shoulder. That move will put the rest of the focus on Trey Lance, who completed 41 of his 71 pass attempts for 603 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, while also running for 168 yards and a score as a rookie last season. 3-time most valuable player Mike Trout has been diagnosed with a rare back condition that will likely affect him for the rest of his playing career. Anaheim Angels head trainer Mike Frosted said Wednesday with a costovertebral dysfunction at his T5 vertebrae. The injury means one of his ribs is misaligned and influences how Trout can twist his body. The club placed Trout on the injured list on July 18th with what they thought was just rib cage inflammation. Trout pulled out of the All-Star game and had a cortisone shot last week. Though Trout is feeling some relief from the shot, it'll be at least another week before he resumes baseball activities. The team, however, has not broached the subject of shutting down Trout for the rest of the season. Mike Trout is 30 years old this season and is batting .270 with 24 home runs and 51 RBIs in what had been a bounce-back season for him health-wise. The 12-year veteran participated in just 36 games last season due to a calf injury, but has appeared in 79 this year. And that's all for the NTD News Sports Roundup. I'm Thomas Christian, and thanks for tuning in.
That's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or you just want to let us know how we're doing, our email is california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Lamb, sitting in for Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.